4 weeks ago, this was dirt and saplings, and we had this grand idea to turn it into this massive garden arch with some raised beds so we can start producing our own food. So I'd love to take you on that journey. Also, the last 4 weeks we've seen some great results with our seedlings and our kitchen garden that started. So come along, let me show you what we've been up to. We really tackled some of the projects that were on our wish list, and over this last 4 weeks we have constructed the garden arch. That's probably the biggest project we worked on. We have been thinking about this for about 9 months. We would have been absolutely lost without the digger on this one. It would have taken us way longer. I restarted the worm farm. That was something that I had as a priority as we try and grow our soil. I also purchased a small compost tumbler. We put that together because one of the projects that will be coming up over the coming months will be the construction of a 3-bay compost bin system, which will live between the crate where I do my potting and my seedlings and between the new garden arch. So we've got access to all those things in a sort of common area, and further down the track we will have our chicken run also there, so we can put the chicken manure into the compost and into the gardens, so we have this whole system happening. The other thing that we really worked on was having a bit of a kitchen garden going, so I would be able to start harvesting and feel like we had some progress in the very short time that we've been back. I'm going to take you around to the kitchen gardens now and just show you the progress that we have made since we've been back. As you would have seen on some prior videos, when we got back some of the steel galvanized raised beds, we'd lost our coconut palms, but we've got them thriving at the moment. And also the trellises were overgrown and just about everything had died. I'm pretty sure it took me a couple of full days to get everything ready again, get all the weeding done, pull all the old vines that were on the trellises, dig it up, make it look presentable for one, and also prepare it for planting. Look how incredible, the kookaburras are getting in today. Look how incredible this tank garden is. So this is my rocket and my, I think it's oak leaf lettuce. Would that sound right? And I've got some tansy here. I've got calendula. It's about to flower. Yeah, the rocket's great. I've been harvesting from that all day. I do have leeks in here. Again, I'm not sure, should I have separated all of those? I've never grown leeks before. So that garden is doing amazingly well. Over here is what I call my kookaburra garden, because it's got a little stump that looks like a kookaburra. I don't know if you can see it in there. There it is. Anyway, I harvested my first zucchini out of here. Lots of flowers. Hopefully they're getting pollinated. I am thinning it out a little bit, but that's the zucchini log. I still have some more to plant in here, so the beetroots are growing well. They were from seed. I did buy some garlic, but I've got some space here to plant something else. I'm not sure yet. I do have a heap of lettuces left over in the nursery. In this tank we've planted some strawberries. We do have a self-seeded pawpaw, but it is a male, and you can tell that by the way that the flowers come out of the stem. So we will most likely not get any fruit from that particular pawpaw. I'm growing mint because I am going to make mango and mint kombucha. I made my first batch of kombucha this week. Also my rosemary, I've taken heaps of cuttings off of this and propagated probably another 10 rosemary bushes. And remember this garden, remember how it looked. I've harvested a fair few radishes, probably not something I will grow again because we don't really seem to eat them. My beans I originally put in there did not come up, but I do have some snow peas that sprouted from seed. The capsicums are doing well. In there you can see some little capsicums, can you see them? Oh, there's one there. And the tomatoes, they seem quite robust, and we're getting our first little tomatoes on there. That's pretty exciting. Now, sad news this morning, we did have a dragon fruit forming. It fell off last night. Not sure why, gonna have to research it. I'm not sure if this dragon fruit is getting way too much water. Oh, this bed 4 weeks ago was an absolute mess, and I had to pull all the vine off, but now we've got snow peas and they're just about to flower, so they're doing well. My comfrey has come back, which is amazing because I will be using that for some comfrey ointment and also for our comfrey tea for our plants. But I'm pretty excited about the snow peas. We should get a good harvest off of those. I have got some baby spinach in here that I can start harvesting from soon. My rocket, again, I have been picking from the ones in the other tank and here every day. More comfrey has come up, and look at these lettuce. They probably are too close together, but as I said, I've never really grown lettuce before, but I'm pretty happy to be able to pick from those. We had an old worm farm which was basically neglected. I've been looking at it for the last 2 years thinking we need to get this going, but there was really no point until we made that commitment to come and stay here for a period of time. With all the digging that we've been doing over this last sort of 6 weeks since we've been up here, we have not seen one earthworm, which is really quite sad. The soil is so poor. The only place that we've seen earthworms that we know that they're there but we don't want to disturb them is under our big fruit trees in the orchard part, so under our mangoes, under our avocado trees. But everywhere else that we've been digging up, even the kitchen gardens, no worms visible at all. And we know how important it is to have worms in the ecosystem. We need these little critters to help us improve the soil. So we are doing compost worms at the moment. These are not earthworms. We are setting this up to be able to get worm castings and worm poo fertilizer from our kitchen scraps. One of the things to be really mindful of when you have a worm farm is to deter ants, and the best way to do that is to create some sort of barrier to stop them climbing into the worm farm. I'm doing that with filling up some containers with water. Now, make a note, these containers are way too small. I have swapped them out with some bigger yogurt containers. We're very much about use what you have. Nothing here is Instagram worthy. That's not that's not the aim, right? We are on a real farm doing real things. We're not creating things for a pretty Instagram reel. Here's the update on the worm farm. They look pretty happy in there. We don't have too many ants, which is great. And I have been making sure I'm not overfeeding them at this stage, because we do have the other compost tumbler right next door to it. I'm making sure that the worms are not overloaded and they're settling in nicely. Let's move on to the biggest project of the month, which is our beautiful garden arch with the raised beds. Now, it's not completely finished yet, but we've probably 90% of the way. This was not one of those projects that you wake up in the morning and go, oh, I'm going to build a garden arch, and there it is. We had been thinking about this for quite some time. Now, there was a fair bit of work involved. There's a bit of logistics. We had to make sure that we had a decent day to be able to fell these trees. It wasn't too windy. We had to look at where they were going to fall. Were they going to fall on anything else that we had planted in the other garden? Luckily, we only had one casualty, which was a palm, which was a very small palm. But to think that we felled probably about 7 trees in the way of where we were going to put the garden arch, I think we did pretty well. So these are the 2 big sheets of Rio reinforced steel they use for concreting. We had to move those. We had to make sure that we didn't damage our dragon fruit. We have since harvested that fruit on there, and it was absolutely amazing. The main reason we went with raised garden beds is pretty obvious. Our soil is absolute crap. You can see here from the holes that we're digging for the rosewood posts, so they will be the structure for the Rio to attach to. But buying the beds was a no-brainer for us because we get to control what's in the soil. Also, they are movable, so maybe down the track when we decide we want something different or change it out, we got the ability to move these beds. Now, they were really easy to go together. We got them from Bunnings. I've still got one more to construct. Pippa helped in some sort of way. But these beds, I can't fault them. I'm really happy with the design, the way they go together. No tools needed. Really easy. One person can do it. It was really great to be able to recycle these rosewood posts. I think they came from an old cattle yard out in central Queensland. Rosewood is fantastic because it's a very, very hard wood and termites are just not interested in it, so they'll be there forever. And being able to have this as a feature on the garden arch, I think it's a nice touch. It's very rustic. While Ben's busy putting some more holes in the ground, I am going to go and start a fire. So we have a couple of stumps that we need to burn out before we can put all 6 garden beds under the arch. A couple of them are in the way, so that's a good excuse to wind up the day and start a fire. Today's a new day. We're putting the Rio up. It's going to start looking like a garden arch, and I'm just going to leave this content here for you. Luckily, Ben and I have a really good relationship and we work really well as a team. Now, we hadn't thought about how we were going to do this, but I think we did a pretty good job. Anyway, you can watch the construction and let me know in the comments if you would have done it any differently. We're pretty excited right now, as you can see, and Ben's job is to tie off the Rio to the posts, and my job is to level out the soil as much as I can so we can start putting these garden beds underneath, because the next job is filling them with soil and then we're going to plant them. We had a bit of a method on how we were filling these beds. So quite some time ago, we got delivered a big pile of dirt, which was supposed to be, you know, good garden soil. It wasn't, it was crap. So we're putting that soil at the bottom on top of a layer of cardboard. So the cardboard that came with the garden boxes, also some furniture that we've bought, anything that can just maybe suppress the weeds, even though there's really nothing growing there anyway. Then we put a layer of organic matter, so whether that be loosened hay that we've just driven and gotten some big round bales of, whether it be sugarcane mulch, whether it be cotton gin trash. We've had a few different things that we've put in the beds. And then we're putting on some alpaca poo, the alpaca poo that we sourced a couple of weeks ago, and then we're topping it off with a better soil on top. And this is the whole reason why it's so important for us to get these compost bays going, because we want to create our own soil and not be reliant on having soil shipped in. We want to create our own from our own organic matter, and especially when we get the chooks, hint hint Ben, chookies. So here we are, 3 or 4 weeks later, and this is what it looks like today. So let me take you for a bit of a tour. Let me take you through the beds that we've planted under the garden arch. Now, some of the things that I've planted are not really quite in season, like pumpkins. We're a bit late for that. But we just wanted to see some greenery. We wanted to see, I suppose, a bit of progress. We all want to see something happen for our efforts. But I've got beans in here, and I've got pumpkin, I've got beetroot, and I've also got baby spinach, because the one thing that being so far from town is we miss out on sometimes having those green leafy vegetables, and I love to have those on hand, and they're doing well so far. The purple beans I've got in this bed have actually just started flowering, which is exciting. And as they're growing and the pumpkin's growing, I'll be training it up this Rio mesh that we have as the arch. One thing we've added to our beds is cotton gin trash. We were able to get about 2 tons of it recently, and it's like having a little blanket on the soil. We were really lucky to source that, and I really think that's going to make a massive difference. In this center garden, I've put things that don't need to climb. So I've put some pak choy, some cauliflower, some broccoli, and also some chives in this bed. I've given them a better spacing than I've done with other things, because I've never grown them before, and I just wanted to be a bit more intentional about the planting and see how they go, and if we do get pests here on those brassicas. So this will be interesting to see how this one plays out. In this other side bed, which will go up the trellis, again, I've got beans. So I've got green beans in here. I have more pumpkin, but I've also got Chinese cabbage, something I haven't grown before, properly spaced this time, which is good. I was a bit crazy with the beans and the pumpkins, but hey, it will look cool when it's all gone up over the trellis. In this bed, we've got more climbing vegetables. I've got my cucumbers, so I'm pretty excited about those. I also have a whole heap of lettuce, and I have more lettuce I still have not planted out from the seeds that I started 4 weeks ago. And I have some butternut pumpkin, and I have some dill. So dill and cucumber. Going to do some pickling at some stage, maybe, I don't know. In this last bed, I have ginger, because I want to make ginger bug, I want to make ginger beer, and I'd love to have my own organic ginger. So we bought ginger from Daly's nursery, and we divided it up. I'm not sure if it was the right thing to do. It does look a little bit stressed, but there was enough rhizomes, or the ginger root in there, I felt, to be able to separate it. So we'll see how this goes. I will plant something else around the bottom of this bed, but for now this is the ginger bed. And there's space for one more garden bed right here. We had to burn out a stump to make room for that. So that'll be this week's project, and then we will have 6 raised garden beds under the arch. So that's where we're up to right now with all our projects, and it's been quite eye-opening. If there's one thing that I've learned in this last 4 weeks is don't get disheartened by what you perceive as a failure. Like, we came back thinking, oh my God, we've killed our food forest, there's nothing to start with. But we just got in on a daily basis and did something towards bringing it back to life. So it was really important right at the start not to get disheartened. It was just get in there, clean those gardens out, and start the seedlings and plant seeds. And look where we are 6-7 weeks later. Who would have thought our garden arch would be up and I'd already be picking our first zucchini, and we got a dragon fruit, and I've been picking rocket, and our snow peas are about to come on, and we're going into winter. So if you're doing something similar, or you want to do something, I really am interested. Leave me a comment below. I'd love to connect with you. We're in the Gladstone region of Queensland. If you're wondering where we are, we're sort of between Gladstone and Agnes Waters, in that sort of area. So that's our soil. We're subtropical climate. We don't get a lot of rain. We've had 100 mil just recently. And yeah, I'd love to keep you up to speed on all the projects. So if you're wanting to see how the garden arch pans out and fills out, make sure that you subscribe. And I really do generally want to get to know the people that are interested in this, because I don't think the truth of Australian gardening is really shown. We don't live in a lush tropical area. We don't live where there's rolling green hills. We're living in an environment and a soil condition that more Australians are actually living in and trying to deal with when growing a food forest. So thanks a lot for joining the journey, and it's time to have a rest. See you guys.